Long ago, in the lands of India and China, there lived a mighty king named Shahryar. He ruled with wisdom and strength, and his subjects adored him. By his side, governing a distant kingdom, was his younger brother, Shah Zaman, the ruler of Samarkand. Both brothers were brave warriors, but Shahryar, the elder, was celebrated far and wide for his fairness and justice. For 20 years they ruled their lands peacefully, their kingdoms thriving. But one day, King Shahryar felt a deep longing to see his brother again. Perhaps you felt that pull before, that yearning to reconnect with someone dear to you. Shahryar turned to his trusted wazir, his closest advisor, for counsel. "Should I travel to see my brother?" Shahryar asked. "My heart aches to meet him." The wazir, wise and practical, replied, "My king, the journey is long, and your absence would leave your kingdom vulnerable. Instead, send a letter and gifts to your brother. Invite him to visit you." Shahryar agreed, and he prepared a royal invitation. Along with the letter, he sent treasures fit for a king, fine horses with golden saddles, beautiful handmaids, and rare silks. The wazir carried these gifts across deserts and mountains to Samarkand. When the wazir arrived in Samarkand, Shah Zaman received him warmly. Reading the letter, he felt a flicker of joy. His brother's words spoke of love, of longing, and of a desire to reunite. Shah Zaman smiled and said, "I will go to him, but I need 3 days to prepare." Yet fate had its own plans. On the night before his departure, Shah Zaman returned to his chambers unexpectedly. What he saw shattered his world. His queen, the woman he had loved and trusted, lay entwined with a kitchen servant. A man of lowly station, unworthy even to step into the royal halls. The betrayal struck deeper than any wound he had ever known. Consumed by rage, he drew his sword and ended both their lives in a single swift stroke. But their deaths did not bring him peace. With a heavy heart, he left the palace, his trust in love and loyalty forever broken. Then he left the palace without a word, carrying a heavy heart as he journeyed to his brother's kingdom. The journey to Shahryar's kingdom was long, and Shah Zaman carried his grief like a shadow. When he arrived, Shahryar greeted him with joy, but the elder brother quickly noticed something was wrong. Shah Zaman's face was pale, his eyes hollow, and his voice lacked its usual strength. "What troubles you, my brother?" Shahryar asked with concern. Shah Zaman forced a weak smile. "It is the strain of travel," he replied. Shahryar, though concerned, did not press further. He hoped his hospitality would bring some light back to his brother's heart. But days turned into weeks, yet Shah Zaman remained haunted by his sorrow. He withdrew from the court, eating little and sleeping even less. His heart was heavy, and he found no comfort in the splendor of his brother's palace. One day, Shahryar came to Shah Zaman with a suggestion. "Brother, why not join me on a hunting trip? The open air and the thrill of the chase may lighten your heart." But Shah Zaman declined. "I thank you, dear brother, but my soul is too weary for such pleasures. Allow me to remain here and rest." Shahryar, understanding his brother's need for solitude, left for the hunt with his entourage. The palace grew quiet, and Shah Zaman found himself alone. He sat by a window overlooking the gardens, lost in his thoughts. Suddenly, something caught his eye. A hidden door in the palace opened. From it emerged Shahryar's queen, surrounded by her handmaids. They moved swiftly but quietly, making their way to the gardens. Intrigued, Shah Zaman watched from the shadows. Then, to his astonishment, the queen called out in a loud voice, "Come to me, my love!" From the shadows of a tree, a towering black man emerged. He leaped into her arms, and they embraced passionately. The handmaids, too, paired off with male slaves, their laughter and whispers echoing softly in the garden. Shah Zaman's shock turned to disbelief. Even my brother, a mighty king, is betrayed in his own palace, he thought. The scene before him mirrored his own pain, but in witnessing this, he felt a strange sense of relief. If Shahryar, with all his power and wealth, cannot escape such treachery, then perhaps my sorrow is not so unique. The discovery brought an unexpected change in Shah Zaman. He began to eat again, his strength returned, and his complexion brightened. By the time Shahryar returned from the hunt, he found his brother transformed. "Your health has improved," Shahryar exclaimed. "Your face is no longer pale, and your spirit seems stronger. Tell me, my brother, what has brought about this change?" Shah Zaman smiled faintly, but said nothing of what he had witnessed. Shahryar, growing curious, pressed him for the truth. "Tell me, what has brought about this change?" At first, Shah Zaman hesitated, but Shahryar pressed him for the truth, swearing he would not rest until he knew. Finally, Shah Zaman revealed everything: his wife's betrayal, the sorrow that had consumed him, and the shocking scene he had witnessed in Shahryar's own palace. King Shahryar's face darkened as his brother's revelation sank deep into his heart. His breath quickened, his hands clenched, and his voice trembled with fury. "When I think of such betrayal in my own palace," he began, his voice rising, "rage grips my throat as if it would strangle me." He stood, pacing the chamber, his robes brushing the floor, as his anger swelled. But then, with a deep breath, he steadied himself. His sharp gaze turned to Shah Zaman. "Brother, I would not doubt your words," he said, his tone heavy with suspicion and pain. "But I cannot believe this calamity unless my own eyes bear witness." Shah Zaman said, "If you would see the truth for yourself, then rise now. Announce to the court that you are going hunting once more. Make ready, and when the time comes, hide yourself with me. Together, we will see the proof with our own eyes." The next morning, the palace buzzed with activity as the king issued his proclamation. Word spread quickly. Shahryar would embark on another grand hunting expedition. The royal entourage was summoned, tents were pitched, and soldiers prepared for the journey. The city gates opened, and the procession of troops and servants spilled out, camping just beyond the walls. As the night deepened, he summoned his trusted wazir. His voice, calm but commanding, carried through the dimly lit tent. He instructed, "For the next 3 days, sit in my stead. Let no one know of my absence. Keep the palace secure, and let no man disturb me." The wazir, ever loyal, bowed low and said, "Your command shall be done, king." As the camp quieted, Shahryar and Shah Zaman, cloaked in secrecy, slipped away. They returned to the palace, moving through its shadowy corridors, their hearts heavy with what they might uncover. Taking their place behind a lattice window, they waited, silent and watchful. Shah Zaman's face betrayed the burden of what he already knew. Shahryar, tense with a mix of doubt and dread, searched for answers in the darkness. What they would witness that night would forever change the course of their lives, leading them down a path of despair, discovery, and destiny. So, what do you think will happen to them? Will Shahryar and Shah Zaman uncover even greater betrayals, or will their journey lead them to something unexpected? If you're curious to find out, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell. That way, you'll be the first to know when the next episode is released, and we continue their incredible story. Thank you for listening to Tales Plus. Until next time, may your days be filled with wonder and your nights with dreams.